You see it on the Play It Forward page? Let me see.
All right, let me see.
I can send you the link.
No, I'll probably get it. Let me just refresh it.
Is it showing now?
Yep, I got you, man. I got you. All right, let me share this out. You're going to do like an intro or something, right?
Yeah, I'll play some.
Do something long enough that I have a chance to get me some ice in for my whiskey drink.
Yeah, I got vodka tonic right now. So yeah, go ahead. It's like there we go. All right. I see it. Let me share it on all my pages.
I'm doing it right now too. Hey, March, would you mind give me some ice? When not right now, just whenever you get sick. All right, got it on the InstaBand page. Put it on mine. Let me get it shared on mine real quick. I almost got it here. Let's see here. Share it on Bob Rose. Share.
Play my intro music real quick.
Yeah. Do it up, man.
Yeah. What up, yo? We are back. Been a couple of weeks. Yeah, 2 or 3 weeks or something, man. But y'all know how we roll. Told you I'm trying to be a little bit more consistent. Trying to get some guests for y'all. Today we got a special guest. My man Bob Rose. I've known since the 90s though, because niggas old. And y'all know them since my East Carolina college days, man. Here to talk about his new documentary, InstaBand, that he produced and directed. All about how independent artists are grinding in the social media era, man. Yeah, man, it's a dope documentary. I watched it a couple of times, man. I got a couple of questions for my man. I'm gonna let this beat. Actually, speaking of questions, I'm turn this joint out. Let me go run and grab those real quick. Go there. Yeah.
What's up, B, man? What's up, man? Long time. Losing your questions and stuff, man. What's going on here?
Turn the power off on the mixer and shit, and I'm all over the place, man. It took me longer than expected to get everything set up, but I got this jump, man. But yeah, man, what's good with you, man? How you been, bro? I know you've been on your grind since the documentary came out and everything.
Yeah, man. I mean, we're our viewpoint these days is, we might not be making a lot of money, but we're making a lot of moves, man. I'm staying super busy promoting InstaBand, and we're about halfway done shooting another documentary feature that we're doing about arcade bars, token taverns, kicking out sizzles and pilots for people, and just, man, we're putting it all up there right now, man. What else can you do,
Yeah, stay on that grind, man. Let's give it up. I don't know if you can hear my sound effects, but I got some gunshots for you. And
I need all gunshots.
What up?
Give me all the gunshots, man.
Yes,
So appropriate. So appropriate, man. As I pour my bullet.
Or like you say, sipping on some whiskey on the rocks this evening.
Yeah, a little bullet, man. A little bullet. I call it bullet with a whisper of ginger. You just breathe over it.
Word out. That's what's up, man. So
what's going on with you, man?
Shit, man. Just trying to figure out how to keep things going, man. In this in the COVID era, man. Been working with some cats around here doing a lot of live streams. Been doing some live streams on Monday nights, and just every now and then, just like last night, I was with my homeboy DJ Rags. Shout out to DJ Rags, man. He did some cuts for me for this EP that I'm working on. And last night, while I was over there, he went live and he does like this like jazz hip hop set called Addicted to Jazz, and he just just spin his jazz instrumentals, and went over there, kicked a few freestyles over to some of the beats, and just rocked out with them. So just been doing stuff like that, constantly, like just working on something, either making beats or recording or writing, and yeah, man, and trying to build more on this Play It Forward movement, man, and see how to bring it into the live stream era.
Very cool, man. I've been seeing your stuff, man. I really appreciate you having me on, man. It's always cool to talk about a project you're working on, but man, it's like nice that I do this music documentary. It completely aligns with what you're doing here with Play It Forward. Perfect synergy and reason to. Well, first off, cheers, man. This is
cheers,
I'm sharing
man.
a drink with my college friend.
Yeah,
Joe.
Cheers.
It's been a minute, man. It's been a minute.
Yeah, man. We hey, I was telling people in the intro, yeah, man, we know each other since 1993, man. Freshman year at East Carolina, man. I remember all the filming that you used to do, you and O, and y'all even brought me into for a few projects and stuff, man. And I had fun working with y'all back then, and I'm proud to see what both of y'all are doing right now. And congrats on this documentary, man. It's dope. Like I said, I watched it when it first came out, first week it came out, and I watched it again today to get a refresher, because I wanted to make sure I had like all the questions that I wanted to ask you about the whole process, like all the artists and your take on the music industry as it is today, man. So we can jump into those questions right now, man. I want to first start off was like, how did you decide to choose the artists? Like, you were telling me earlier that you wanted to make sure you had artists from different genres. Did you just just research them through social media, or what was the process for that?
Honestly, man, it was a pretty organic process. In the beginning, when you start these documentaries, you start these ideas, I mean, you're ready to talk to anybody and everybody that you can. So in the beginning, I mean, I was traveling around the United States, just working jobs for different gigs and whatnot. And so in the very beginning, if I was in town in San Diego, I got on Instagram and I hashtag and found what shows were going on that night. I contact the artist, and then I would film them. Like, so the guy you hear in the movie that says, "Thank God we have day jobs," from the trailer. I mean, he was literally almost the first person we shot, and that's how I found him. But then, as it tends to happen, one thing leads to the other, and as we started filming, I find this one person off of Instagram, and then she finds me this person, and then they tell me about another artist, and that's kind of how it all unfolded, man. I actually linked up with Nashville Unsigned by finding them off of a Spotify playlist, which is absolutely crazy and completely ties into what the movie's all about. And then Nashville Unsigned and Amber Stolman, they really like kind of set us up with what the major cast is, especially out of Nashville, which covers all genres of music. I mean, you know, Nashville was really the that was really the kind of meat of the movie because it's Music City. You know, I knew that was going to be a must. And so once I linked it with Nashville Unsigned, man, I mean, we did a day of interviews, and that was pretty much 80% of our cast right there.
Oh man, that was one of the later questions I wanted to ask about Nashville Unsigned, but we could talk about that, go right into that, because I found her, you know, their platform like really interesting. Like when she first started talking to it, I think in the documentary, one of the first people that I noticed her talking to was, I think, what's that group name? Her and
Yeah.
what's her and the Kingsmen, something like that.
Yeah, so she goes by the infamous Her, and her band was a previous name. So
Okay.
yeah, so and then Nashville Unsigned, they it's almost like, you know, the way she says it in the movie is like so perfect. Is they're kind of the anti-label label, like they provide label services and kind of like get artists ready for the step and give them the knowledge that they need to kind of get into this music industry without them being signed as a label. Just kind of show them how to do it as independent artists, which I think is pretty cool. And, you know, when I started out doing this movie, we were just trying to tell the story of the music industry right now and how streaming has affected that, and kind of like we're at this transition in the music industry, which is bigger than anything since the music industry started. And so we need to document that, right? And tell it through the artist's eyes. But I initially thought I need to get in and try to see what I can pull to get some big name artists and hear it from their eyes. And can I get on some meet and greets and do all this and that? And immediately after doing my first interview, I, from that point, said, no, this needs to be done from kind of these like mid-tier artists' eyes, these people who are doing the grind, who are doing all this themselves and kind of making a living doing it. And because that's, to me, honestly, to me, that's the meat of the music industry. That's what the backbone of the music industry. And so telling it from their eyes, and then also linking up with people like groups like Nashville Unsigned, which are giving these people the tools they need to do it themselves. I just thought it was a perfect synergy, you know?
Word, man. Yeah, because I like that was one aspect of the documentary that I like, you know, that wasn't, you know, featuring a platform, you know, on someone that wasn't an artist, someone that was, you know, integral to promoting the artists like these indie artists. Because one of the things that especially the infamous Her, that she said how, I believe it was her, she said that her band, they got signed by Warner Brothers, and they gave them in advance and for like $250,000, and she was like, cool, we can make this record for $5,000, because they had been producing their own records like before they got signed. And Warner Brothers was like, nope, you got to spend this whole $250,000, and we own the rights to this until we recoup everything. And you know, it's just like that's been my whole philosophy as an independent artist myself. It's like seeing how the majors, they just rob artists, man, because, you know, they do have the resources to put you in that stratosphere, but since they do have the resources, they make you pretty much sign your life away and shit.
Yeah, I mean, that's you know, especially like when you think about the I guess what I would say is the pinnacle of the music industry, when the most money was going down, and I'm talking the late 90s, early 2000s kind of TRL era, and there was so much money going around. there really wasn't that much talk at all about an independent artist. There was just the studio system. There was just getting signed by a label. And honestly, that kind of parallels, and this is a big reason why I wanted to do this subject. It parallels the film community as well. There's this barrier, this technology barrier. There's this who do you know barrier. There's a money barrier. There's a location barrier. You and I grew up in Eastern Carolina, not a lot of opportunities there. You got to get on the right college station. You got to raise up to Raleigh, then you got to raise up to DC, and you got to work your way up to New York. And that's how it was back then, right? I mean, this isn't even that long ago. Well, yeah, it is.
That's exactly how it worked. That's exactly
you get on a mixtape.
Yep.
But so obviously the big thing we're talking about here is we're talking about the internet and we're talking about social media. That is leveled the playing field as far as at least now you have the opportunity, you just have the opportunity to get your stuff out there. Nobody's going to stop you from doing it. Now, how many people see it? Because now everybody else has the same opportunities. Now that's where the rub comes, right? That's where that's really kind of the heart of kind of what InstaBand gets into is things like how does the cream rise to the top? How do you deal with oversaturation and branding and building your audience and being true to yourself all at the same time, right? Like that's the golden ticket here, isn't it? Like we all want transparency. We all need inspiration, especially in this time that we're in right now. And we want to connect with our music artists, not just listen to their music, but connect with who they are and their universe. And that's kind of a lot of what we get into with the movie. And that's the stuff that I discovered while making the movie, which I thought was kind of, it's always the fun part of what you don't know that you discover from making one of these.
Yeah, man, that's one thing that I forgot who mentioned it, but one of the artists in the documentary, they I think what was her name, Charlotte Sands, I think either her or Adara, but they were saying that you need to align your music. No, I know who it was. What was her name? Falu. What was it?
Farrah Boulay.
Yeah, Farrah Boulay. She was saying you need to, because she does corporate gigs, and she said that she basically aligned her music with the brand that was kind of intertwined with her whole vibe, her musical message, and she was able to make money by being aligned with this brand, but she was still able to be herself with her music. And that's one of the themes that I've heard consistently through this documentary. One of the artists mentioned saying that it's good to be that mid-tier, like that tier right below superstar, but above like straight indie artists, where you can still have that freedom, that creative freedom, and still make money and not be so so restricted as when you're under a major label.
Absolutely. I mean, the one thing, Farrah, again, and so kind of going back to Farrah Boulay, she is one of those artists I found from that same girl from New Orleans, and she pointed out Farrah that I found because I was there in New York. And the thing that really did stick out with me was how she said how she makes the majority of her money through corporate gigs. And, myself, O's the same way. We make a substantial amount of our income from corporate gigs. So we dip our toe in that world. And but the thing that's the difference between what she did as opposed to her, I immediately thought of her as, okay, she's probably doing what I've seen in corporate gigs, which is cover tunes, and just kind of filling the crowd out, and kind of the typical what you would think from a corporate gig music, and then kind of catching her in Harlem and shooting the scene with her, and discovering while we were doing it that she aligns with these people, that she matches her clients to her music, right? Because as opposed to trying to make her music fit the client. And I think that's beautiful first, and to be able to do that and build up her following kind of that way, while also building her following throughout her own entertainment efforts, is like the perfect synergy, which is very, very rare that you find that, where her show might be almost the same for a corporate client as it is if she was surrounded by all her peers and her friends,
Most definitely, because yeah, man, I like that whole concept. That kind of that was one thing that she said that really stuck out to me from the documentary, is it's like a different way of thinking about your music and getting it into other areas. It's like, everybody wants like some type of sponsorship, or some type of deal, like with like with some type of, with one of these corporations, but like specifically aligning your music with like what a company is doing, and what a company is doing that's not like typically a music company, but the message of their motto or whatever is aligned with the message in your music. And it's a different way of approaching the music industry nowadays. Like, it's like really thinking outside the box. Like, never really thought of it that way. It's like, you just want corporations to come to you and be like, hey, we want you to be a spokesman for our product, but not just. But this is just a different way of doing that. So I want to kind of look into that, and see how to like build, like look more into that concept, and kind of expand on it, because that really, really intrigued me. I was there was it was a short clip. There was like some guy talking. And he was speaking from, I guess he was speaking at this. It was called the Nordic Business Forum. Like, what is that? Is that like a annual convention for music artists or something? Do you know much about that? Or
Oh, you're talking about in the movie? Okay, so that was a Gary V clip, Gary Vaynerchuk. So,
okay,
yeah. That was just kind of like just a Gary Vaynerchuk clip that absolutely, like, I think he was talking about the power of the phone. That kind of like really kind of set off, because in the movie we get into things like the power of social media, and then specifically the power of the phone. How that's your lifeline to, and your one-stop connection to your fans. I mean, you got people like Fangs, who, that guy literally does everything from his phone. Like, what amazed me is how he showed me that he would like design T-shirts, all his merch. He would handle everything just from his phone. We all kind of like say, yeah, we live in our phones, but when you're getting into nitty gritty of handling your business and not really doing a lot of it from your laptop at all, but handling it all from your phone, it's pretty impressive.
yeah, there was a whole section on that in the documentary about like how important like having the phone is, not just for for the social media connection, but for everything, business opportunities. Like you said, Fangs, he does designing his merch on there. Yeah, there's plenty of apps where you can uh, just download and pretty much do everything. Because like I'm not much of an artist myself, but like seeing like how much money I'm spending on flyers, I'm about to get me a Adobe Spark subscription and become a flyer making fool. So it's pretty much like the same that like I'd be paying on flyers per year for different events that are promoting stuff. So yeah, it's just yeah, I want to fun like having the like that phone is really important like for a number of things like, and the documentary points that out really well, like shows how like all of them do use it in different ways, but like they all just need it. Shows how much you do need to have that, because that's the like shit happens just like at any moment, man, and you just need to be connected. But well, like you just mentioned earlier, like some people say like if you're constantly just on social media, they say that can have an effect on you and stuff. But if you're actually conducting business and making moves, that's you can see the need for it and everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about opportunity, right? So I'm a firm believer of, as far as phone stuff, designate you some time where you just can kind of put your phone away or just forget about it or whatever. But I'll tell you this, it's the phone and the social media and some of the things we talk about in InstaBand. It's all about opportunities. It's just that if you're not doing these things, then you're not getting the same amount of opportunities as somebody who's doing it, and definitely not the same amount of opportunities for somebody who's really doing it well. And this goes beyond music as far as I'm concerned. I mean, these are things that kind of get to the root of running a business, building your brand. I mean, these are definitely techniques that I use in making movies. That's why I decided to do this in the first place, because this was shit that I learned through doing my first film, because it's a whole new ball game for the film community as well. Nobody's buying DVDs either. We're stream. I mean, everybody's asking me where InstaBand's streaming. Sounds like the same thing, really, and it really is. But I think for the music community, it's so much more poignant. It's so much more important. I think that there's no artistic form that's as important as music is. So, and it's just what we need now more than ever. And that's kind of the stuff that I'm getting into now. My next steps as far as like past InstaBand. I don't know if you want to talk about that a little bit. What I'm cooking up next.
Yeah, man, go ahead and share with the world, man. Yeah, what's next on the platter for InstaBand?
Well, so the idea was always to do a documentary series and really kind of say what's going on in the music industry right now from an artist perspective. What does a music artist do in a world that doesn't buy music, right? That's the question we asked. And so now, since InstaBand came out, or especially since we shot, the whole music industry has changed once again. It's a whole nother 180. The music industry has been affected by the pandemic like everything else has.
Yeah.
And in some ways even a bigger major way. So because this whole industry is built about people coming together in large communities of people and listening to music, right? And that's not something we're dealing with now. So what we're working on right now is I'm halfway through editing a pilot for InstaBand, the series. Right now we're calling it InstaBand Encore. If anybody has any ideas, shoot it my way. But we're doing this, and we're just trying to find a good home for it. But now the question we ask is, what does a music artist do in a world that doesn't go to concerts? And that's kind of the reality we're at right now.
Yeah.
You're
answering all my questions already. I was kind of gonna go into that. If you were gonna focus on what it's like now with
this is why Jimmy Fallon always comes in the green room and he says, okay, I'm going to go over these questions first, and we chat about it for a couple minutes. See, that's what you should have done there.
I'm trying to get the Jimmy Fallon status. Nah, man.
Oh,
But,
you're good.
yeah,
You're good.
I have a, like, I'm pretty sure, like as the discussion goes on, like some of the questions I have will get answered. But yeah, I totally understand. I like that concept. I mean, but it's the natural process and natural step in evolution for this documentary and what you started with it. Like, yeah. So you're gonna have some of the art, like bring some of the artists back from the documentary. You're gonna focus on new artists, or how are you gonna do that?
Well, this is definitely a process and something that's like happening right now, and I think a little bit of both. I think that, right now, I think that seeing some artists that we know from InstaBand and catching up with them and seeing stuff that they're doing right now, it was super interesting. And I think there's also opened the door for other artists. And I think that's, and also different regions, and see what's happening. Like, this is an ongoing conversation we're talking about here. And for us, we're like, okay, listen, let's be honest. 3 months ago, we're all still in that stage where we're like, not sure. We just want to get out of our house. We're not sure what's going on. And now people are starting to kind of get back to trying to figure out what a new normal is. And I think that story for music artists, we don't want to lose that opportunity. I think, again, it's important to see, because I do think that things aren't going back to exactly the way they were for a bit. And I think when they do, I don't know if it's going to be the same. We want to be there for that. So,
yeah, this came out at a perfect time. I mean, because like when it was filmed, before everything happened. And one thing that stuck out to me, I forgot which artist it was, but just he was really focused. He really loved like the live show, and just like, and I love performing live also, man. I mean, there's nothing like it, man. Like, you can't recreate that, like, through live streams and everything. But there's got to be some way to artists, we're gonna have to find some way to really reconnect with the audience in a different way, or not reconnect, but find a way to connect with the audience in a different way. And one thing I was thinking is virtual reality, but it's not enough people that have VR headsets. Because that's one thing that I think like that could kind of put you in a concert atmosphere, but I'm not sure if that's it, man. But once you start filming, I'm sure you'll find like that headway and see what different artists are doing.
Well, it's crazy that you say that, because, this isn't in the documentary, but one of the questions we ask every artist was, what do you see the future of the music industry being? And we do have some of that in the movie, but this answer wasn't in there. One of the artists said, I think it's really going to be all about virtual reality and kind of bringing people into this environment that together from around the world. And then this is kind of a weird, kind of ironic thing, but at the same token, another thing that we discussed is the optimistic big push at the end of InstaBand, after we talk about all this money that artists aren't making from streaming and all the hustle they have to do to kind of pull together a career, and how you can't just do one thing, you have to do all these things. And there's a lot of that. And then all of a sudden we say, but you know what? We always will have the live show. We literally say that at the end of the movie, is you'll always have people will always pay for the live show. That's what we say. That's what we always have it, but people will always pay for it. And that still is true, because you're paying for that experience. And right now, that's what everybody's wanting from the music, is the experience. And so that's the story that we're actually already we're telling. I mean, this is Brian, this is happening like right now. This isn't like what's going to happen soon when the world opens up. No, people are already doing stuff like now. Like when I say that, we've all seen virtual concerts of, people either doing something in the beginning in their living room or, now things are starting to get more structured and people are doing like lit, even edited things and showing those. And I think Tim McGraw's got some huge thing that's on everybody's freaking feed right now that's happening this coming up weekend. I think that's probably on a massive scale, one of the bigger ones. And, but see, even the artists.
What's Tim McGraw doing?
He's doing some kind of experience. He's even calling that. He's even calling it that. It's called experience because, I mean, the idea, even if you think about it, back in the day, yes, it's called McGraw Here on Earth, August 21st.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Pre-order right now. Whatever. Like it's. And I don't know what they're charging or whatever. And honestly,
it's
we all get it.
$15.
Okay. I think that's a good price for probably what he's doing.
Yeah.
I think that people kind of like, wow, that's you know what?
People are paying $20 to rent a movie nowadays. So yeah,
it's a step in the right direction. Like these artists. It's not just these artists. It's all the people that work on these shows. Like he's doing something that's not him just performing in his living room. They're getting to employ all these people that do all this big time lighting and staging. They're employing these people. I mean, myself and a lot of people who I work with are heavily employed by the live event industry, which is so heavily impacted. I mean, even aside from artists, they can only work when somebody else is doing a show or creating some art. They're the people putting these things together, and that industry is non-existent right now. Completely non-existent. So I think it's a great step. I think we're getting there, but I think that this is the big reason why we needed to really jump into this InstaBand Encore, this, if you will, how these artists are doing in a pandemic, because if I could put any kind of spotlight on that, it's something that I'm all about. You know what I mean?
Word, man. Hey, so when did you start filming this? Like a couple years ago or last year?
InstaBand. So
Yeah.
we started filming. We mainly filmed in 2019 was the big year we did the most filming, with just a little bit of 2018. So from inception, or when we really got it to where we done, we spent a little bit over a year with shooting and editing. It's crazy how we came up with it, though, man. Originally, I was going to do this movie about a music artist, a filmmaker, and maybe an inspirational speaker, and how they hustle online, because they're all kind of similar, right? They're all trying to build the brand and how you interact with your fans and your people. It's all very similar. But then once I was on the streets with me and my wife in New Orleans, and we were just on vacay and having a beverage, and I had my camera with me, and we ran into a couple of guys that were hustling CDs on the street, and I talked to them and just instantly started filming with them, and it was super organic, and some of that's in the movie, by the way. And
one guy, he was like, well, give me 10 then, or something.
No, that was New York. So these guys was this one guy. He said, I don't. I said, well, you got a SoundCloud? He goes, I don't got the SoundCloud.
I got Street Cloud. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. So once I filmed that bit with them, I immediately was like, this needs to be all about musicians, because this stuff that we're talking about is the most poignant with them. Plus, we all connect with music more than any other medium. And there's also the ability to kind of tell the story crossing different genres of music, which helps connect to different people. Because as a filmmaker, you want your message, your movie, to have a connection to as many people as possible. Everybody doesn't have to like it, but if you can kind of, especially with music, and I like variety. We all like a dope soundtrack, right? So That was definitely some of the boxes I was trying to check. We're trying to tell the story of the music industry, but tell it through the eyes of these different music artists. And then because of my travels, I would be able to tell it from a cross country standpoint, crossing different genres of music. That really is the main reason why there's so many people in this movie. I mean, there's quite a few artists in this.
Yeah, man. Like I said, all like it's like indie rock, country, hip hop, and like pop stars, and like the one girl, Adara, like what she was doing, like when we were talking, like how we were talking about Brandon earlier, like she, like her whole personality is like into like her branding. Like she says she does fashion design, like she designs her own outfits, and she had like her music room. She said she had that space set up to like do promo videos, and it was just set up for her to just vibe out in. But yeah, like the whole way that she presents herself, like she stuck out because she has like she kind of reminds me of like uh not Bjork. I mean her outfits look kind of like a little out there, but she's not. She ain't seem like weird or anything, but she just like some like on her way to being a pop star diva.
Yeah, she's actually really big in the EDM thing.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and she kind of has like a classically trained music background. Like she's really good on guitar and she's great on piano.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, so again, I have to give it up to Nashville and Sign. We got with them and we filmed a day of interviews, and they really Amber just really pulled some of the best of her alumni of people that've been through her program, and it really, I think that it gives a nice mix there. But the great thing is they're all kind of telling the same story, so they're just telling it from their perspective. But there were so many commonalities with everything that they're dealing with that that's why it was like for us, it was like really cool and important to represent that, because once you start hearing 2 people to 5 people to 8 people, and they're telling you all these same similar things of things that are great about what's going on right now in the music industry and some things that are not. It's like, wow, this is really a story we need to tell.
No doubt, man. Man. Yeah, put major props on doing this, man, because yeah, I know a lot of artists will benefit from the information, and like I got inspired by watching it also, and just seeing what different people are doing, and because like I said before, man, my whole thing is like it breaks my heart, like seeing like last year De La Soul, it was they made the news because they were in a fight with Tommy Boy Records, because like the deal that they signed back then, it was standard shady record business deal. Like they signed away the rights to their masters and everything, and they tried to renegotiate with Tommy Boy, and they weren't able to like get the rights to their music back, and it's just like that shit is heartbreaking, because they were hip hop stars, but they weren't like superstars where they were like making major money. But like now, if they had the rights to all them classic albums, and they'd be able to eat off the streaming profits for that, like, but they're not getting anything off of that shit now, and like shit like that. But I also hear, like, I don't know if you heard, I think it was last week, this producer, No ID, he's like produced for everybody. Kanye, he was like Kanye's mentor. He's produced for Jay-Z, Beyonce, all these different artists. And he sold like a major percentage of his catalog to some company, and like that deal, like the numbers weren't included in the news story, but I mean it would have to be a lot, like for somebody to give away the rights to a catalog with them major artists. You know what I'm saying? So it's just depending on where you are in this music industry, depends on the type of moves you can make, and you can either get fucked or like really get rich. And but I see more, you hear more and more about artists getting fucked in these days, in these by the industry. So that was one recent story that really broke my heart, man. But I but like I say, I get inspiration seeing what these indie artists are doing, like making money, keeping the rights to their music, and having that creative freedom.
I mean, that was the big thing that we kind of started to see as we were doing the film, that we really wanted to spread a light. So for us, really what we like to do is make films that could be informative and inspirational or positive and helpful. So with this movie, to me, it's like it's told by the music artist's eyes. It's definitely for the music artist, and like for you to say that, like when people tell me that this is really something that a music artist should see if they're up and coming, or even if you'll pick something, or you'll just be nice to hear other people going through the same things, you know. But then also to for other people to see what music artists have to go through, and the struggles and the hurdles and the hustle, most importantly, that they do to get this music to where you just start to hear about it. And then it's like, oh, wow, man, she just came out of nowhere, but she's been grinding for 8 years or whatever.
That's how it happens, man. Yeah, you think somebody is getting overnight success, but you don't realize all the work they've been putting in the previous years.
But, and I'll say this too. I think, like, yes, people are getting screwed over, but I would have to say this. I think that there are less people getting screwed over in the music industry than there was 10 or 20 years ago.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
yeah. I think that we're smart. There's smarter artists now, but there's still people signing some shady deals, though.
For sure. But the amount of rich, fat white dudes at the top of the tower that's just collecting all the money, that number is a lot lower. We definitely have more people. And I think that's the biggest thing that my takeaway from it is that, yes, you need to protect yourself. And, even I'll say this too, we filmed a bit with a lawyer that does a whole seminar series in Atlanta that talks just about the legal side and things about owning your own masters, and we used his interviews, but a lot of that footage we didn't get a chance to use. It's these resources are there for everyone, especially online. So it's all about education. Nobody has an excuse to say, I just didn't know better anymore. I don't think, if you're getting yourself to where you're in a music deal position, then you're in a position to where some sort of attorney could be brought in on a retainer to make sure you're not getting fucked over. Yeah. Or you Google it.
Yeah, no, but that's true. I mean, yeah, there are a lot of resources for you to educate yourself, but what happens is, these artists, like these companies, they find them young, like these kids know how to navigate like YouTube and all that and get their views up. So they're savvy in that aspect, but they're not savvy as far as like negotiating deals and what they should be getting. Like, even though there is a lot of information out there, it's like I interviewed Superstition last year, and he was telling me when he signed his first deal, he it was mid '90s, late '90s, or whatever, and he hired a lawyer just to look over the contract, and the lawyer's like, yo, yeah, looks like a standard record contract, and he ended up like kind of getting screwed on the deal in the in the long run. So I think like there may be some guys like that who like maybe just hire, they do hire a lawyer, but like they just get a lawyer that'll tell them like some bullshit or whatever, and just so they can get them to sign a contract. And so, but yeah, man. But um what was there was one artist in there. He was saying damn, never mind. I'm sorry. I can't remember where I was going with that, because there was a. I know. What I wanted to ask, like to go back to the streaming aspect. And there was something in there I did not know happened. Like, and that was Trump signing this Music Modernization Act.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
So is that really benefiting artists? I mean, because I look, yeah, I'm on digital streaming platforms, and these motherfuckers, they ain't paying out shit still. Like, you getting 0.0001% of a penny for each stream and shit, man. So like, it ain't benefiting too many, like, unless you're a superstar.
Yeah, so what the Music Modernization Act is, and it's a step in the right direction, and this is something that was pushed into the law no matter who's going to be the president. So I don't want to give this guy too much credit,
Oh,
but
okay.
it did happen while he was here. This is in,
Like I
this
said.
is he signed. Let's say he signed. It says it right here. He signed it into law, not that he made it into law. But what it is it makes it easier, because there were some people, like, so let me give you an example of where the Music Modernization Act really came into play, is that, so just like anything where new tech comes, they don't know how to
Monetize it, right?
not just even monetize, they don't know how to govern it. So like we were just watching this documentary on Netflix tonight about the early video game years, and in the very beginning, computer code and code to make games wasn't copyrighted, because how do you make rules for something that doesn't exist? So the laws always have to follow, right? So with streaming, what was happening is people that might have this massive library of music weren't getting anything for it at all, or it was just being used for other things, and there was like, this says that if you use it in a certain way, it kind of basically puts the same laws that they have for certain copyright things into the streaming world, because at that time it didn't. But more importantly, it means that everybody's got to get royalties for things. And I think it also gave royalties to certain people that weren't getting royalties at all, like the publishers and the songwriters. They weren't getting anything from any money. Now, so when you say what you're saying about what you're getting, absolutely true. But when you start talking about people like the Beatles, these are big checks, and a lot of people are getting that should get stuff from these checks weren't getting it. So yeah, it's a step in the right direction. It's like everything. Laws are always going to follow tech. It can never be ahead. So. I think that this whole deal with streaming and where artists get money, I think that what's happening now with concerts going away and how we're kind of reshaping that, I think that's going to change and fuel a lot of changes that's going to happen with streaming. Because what's going to happen is now that the money that's spent into music industry, I don't think ever goes up or down. It just changes shape, right? So what happened when people stopped buying CDs and stuff? people started spending $100 for the cheap seats at a concert, right? The concerts went up.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I don't know,
Really?
man. Yeah, absolutely,
Concert
dude. I
attendance
mean,
went up as CD
no,
sales
no.
dropped?
Prices went up for concert tickets. So
Oh, I got you.
the money goes, yeah. So the when you go to concerts, your T-shirt costs $50. You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
okay. Merch prices went up and concert
so,
tickets. I got you.
but
Yeah.
I think that there's been some very interesting things that's happened lately with state like spacing out people in these little like kind of like I don't know what you call them, like the kind of roped off areas, and then also they're starting to do drive-in concerts. I mean, listen, people are going to figure out a way. You know, we can't wait completely. You got to come up with something. We got to have a Band-Aid at least. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I've heard, listen to Bill Burr's podcast. He was talking about how he just did a comedy show at like a drive-in theater, and everybody would like to just like blink their lights to let him know that he's funny or something like that. But
Honk
that's
the
gotta be
horn, man.
honk the horns and all that shit. Yeah, man. It's
They
just,
probably say don't do that because the whole damn concert nobody would be able to hear shit.
yeah. Yeah,
Somebody take his horn
exactly.
away.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird, but yeah, like people, like you said, it's happening now. Like people are figuring it out now, and but yeah, it's gonna take a while for normalcy, like whatever that's gonna look like to really set in.
Yeah, I mean we're dealing with the same thing on the production standpoint. Like making these shows and doing these things is its own deal now too.
Yeah, the travel restrictions, or being careful when you travel and everything. Hey, so let me close out with this question. Like, so we're talking about streaming and everything, and how artists are really making money off the actual music, but and I heard a couple artists mention this theory, but do a lot of them think that the music, like that they sell, like for just consumers, should be free and just make? I mean, or did they think that before, and has that changed because of COVID?
So are you saying do some of the artists feel that music should be free?
Yeah, because I heard a couple artists mention. I may have been that guy Fangs, or that Fangs is a band, right? And
Yeah. This is one artist.
there's this other independent artist, like this white dude, kind of preppy. I think it may have been him saying that. I forgot who it was, but I remember a couple artists were saying that they think that their music should be free, and just making money off touring and selling merch and everything, because of people aren't really buying the physical products, and everything's going to streaming and everything.
Yeah, so I mean, I can tell you this. So the thing that's echoed by pretty much all the artists, and it wasn't as much that they think it should be free, is that they think it kind of will be free, or it pretty much is free. Meaning the amount for all these artists, when you're not the Kanye or the Taylor Swift, the amount that you make from that streaming is close enough to free to just know that music is the thing that brings them to the concert, or music is the thing that makes them buy the T-shirt. Music's the thing that kind of connects them to the fan, that they might be able to have somebody that kind of continues to follow them.
Yeah.
Because fans are still loyal, man. I mean, these fans for artists, they might not be paying much for music, but that's just because of the way it is. Like, they didn't make it that way. It's just the business model changed, and so they changed with it. And we all love the convenience of streaming. Artists have paid the biggest price because dude, you and I remember all those trips to fucking CD Alley back in the day.
We used to go
East
at
Coast
midnight.
Video.
We used to go at midnight to go. I remember we went to go get Doggy Style at midnight.
Snoop
We
Dogg.
couldn't
I
wait.
talked about that all the
We
time.
couldn't wait for that shit to drop, man. Man, that's what we did. That was our love for music. Now these kids just gotta sit by their phone on Fridays, on Thursday night, wait for midnight, and the new albums drop on Fridays now. They used to come out on Tuesdays. I mean, yeah, man, like the whole industry has completely changed because we used to value having the physical copy, that CD. Like, our fucking CD collections were like when people would come over and chill, that would be like one of the first things they look at. Be like, yo, what you got in your CD rack? Yo, like, you used to judge people off of what they had in their CD rack, yo.
Yeah, so that was the whole thing. Is like, if you saw the CD rack, or then when it kind of started shifting to CD books, and you look through it, you could kind of judge a person by what they had in there. And then there'd always be a couple of shaky ones, right? And then the answer would always be the same. It would always be like, Columbia House, man. I ran out of choices.
Yeah.
But now people do that with playlists. I did hear about that. People like look at other people's playlists, and they do it similar. So it's like, we're not those old guys. It's shifted a little bit, but
Again, that's like, I guess it would be called playlist placement. Is a new way to get yourself promoted. Also, like, people, celebrities and other artists, like, they curate their own playlists and shit, and people gravitate towards those because people, it's like just having your own DJ. All you got to do is just hit play. Like, people don't want to keep going back and forth looking for songs to play. They just want to have something playing in the background, or while they're working out or whatever they're doing and stuff. So yeah, man, it's a whole bunch of, I'm always looking at different ways and seeing what artists are doing to get their name out there, build their fan base and everything, like, especially on the indie level, man. And seems like the thing that's most consistent is finding a way to connect with the fans and, like, kind of letting them know that you're a regular person, or just letting them into your life a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the lifeblood of the independent artist. The connection that can happen between an independent artist and certain fans, especially when you're connecting with them on a more personal level, or almost like your own kind of like friendship. It trumps anything that you get from a fan club from a huge artist from back in the day, or whatever, even now, because you don't have that kind of, these artists, most of these artists answer every DM. They answer every DM. That's crazy.
Yeah, man. Yo, man. Well, appreciate you coming on the podcast, and said congrats on the dope documentary, informative, inspirational, man. And man, I'll be talking to you some more, man. See what's going on with the series and everything, and just keep in touch with you. See what y'all got going on down there. Do you and O live next to each other, like near each other?
Dude, O lives like down the street from my house. He lives right down the street, man. He lives right down the street.
Word.
We're super close, yeah. We're still working together, so.
Y'all working on projects together, or y'all?
Yeah, quite often, man. Quite often, we call it shake and bake, man. We try to do it as much as we can. So And I'll tell you, man, if this thing gets off the ground, I'm looking to kind of shoot InstaBand the series kind of more East Coast, especially with all the COVID and the travel and all that kind of stuff. So, find me somebody over there. Find me some, come over there and get an artist in your area of town, and we can kick it.
Yo, man, yeah, you could do a whole like one episode like featuring just like I see a lot of like DC rappers that get featured in some like national publications or whatever nowadays. But there's a lot, man. There's a lot of cats that I know from like DC, like mad talent there, but like all over DMV area, like cats that aren't getting recognition and that are dope. Like,
All right, well,
yo,
let me say,
yeah,
let,
man.
let me say this, and let me say this. I haven't said this on any interviews or any podcast. Open invite, InstaBand movie is the handle on all social platforms. Shoot us a DM, shoot us a email, whatever. If you and tell me your story, because we are looking for artists for this series all across the nation. So hit us up.
Let me put that in the
Put that
chat.
in the show notes.
Yeah, I'll put that in the chat. You said it's
InstaBand movie. Yeah, that's our handle on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. Just any kind of DM, you can just tell us who you are, and you give us your, we'll check you out. We're open inviting on everybody right now. And I gotta have some North Cackalack love. I'm from North Carolina.
No doubt,
I can stay safely at my dad's house. I really like that. I'm all about DC, especially because I can check out with my boy Brian. And we're definitely trying to find somebody in Florida. And we already got some Nashville love going on with people from InstaBand the movie. So, I mean, man, this thing's gonna roll. We're about to make this thing happen. If it's me and my wife traveling around with some cameras and a dog and a van, we're gonna do it.
All right. So at InstaBand movie, that's for Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, or
yeah,
right.
everything. Yeah, InstaBand movie is also our website, so it's everything.
Word up, man. Well, congrats on this, man, and good talking to you, man. And yeah, man, I'll talk to you in the near future, man, because I got some things in the works, and I will let everybody know to hit up InstaBand movie to have y'all holler. See if that you can feature them in the series that you got going on or some other projects, man. But thanks again, Bob Rose, producer, director, InstaBand movie. Check it out on all digital streaming platforms. Yo, thanks for coming on the show, man.
Thanks for having me, bro.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later, bro.
Peace.
Peace. All right, y'all. Time is 10:14, man. Should I go ahead and start spinning? Nah, I don't feel like doing that right now. Say, hold up. My mic sound nice, check one. My mic sound nice, check two. I need another drink, check three. Are you ready?